The first defense witnesses will testify tomorrow morning after the state rested its case against Amber Guyger earlier today. CBS 11's J.D. Miles joining us live from the Dallas County Courthouse. Final day of prosecution testimony. J.D.
That's right, Doug. And when the state rested, the defense asked the judge for a direct verdict of not guilty, saying the prosecutors had not met the burden of proof for murder or the lesser offenses. The judge denied that request, and so this trial will continue tomorrow. Botham Jean's family left the Dallas County Courthouse after 4 days of gut-wrenching testimony about the 26-year-old man's death that included body cam video of his final moments alive. The prosecution rested its case after bringing in crime lab witnesses who found no blood on Amber Guyger's police uniform, which she was wearing when she shot and killed an innocent man. Prosecutors believe it's evidence she made no effort to save Botham Jean's life moments after shooting him. The state presented photos of both Jean's and Guyger's apartments, which we placed side by side, as well as pics comparing the similar-looking hallways of the South Side flats, along with the third and fourth floors of the parking garage. While prosecutors tried to point out the differences in those photos that they believe Guyger should have noticed, the state witnesses admitted there are a number of confusing similarities.
Did you find, when you were at that apartment complex, that there are not a lot of visual indicators to indicate what floor you're on?
I think that's a fair statement.
Prosecutors say the red mat outside Jean's door would have been a telltale sign Guyger was entering someone else's apartment. They presented photos of her uniform to question why she didn't consider her taser, pepper spray, or knife if she thought Jean were an actual intruder. But a Texas Ranger admitted to the defense those would not have been a trained officer's first option.
If an officer is faced with a deadly threat, which of these is an officer taught to use to address a deadly threat?
Deadly threat would be the handgun, the weapon.
Amber Guyger is expected to testify at some point, and with the jury sequestered, the judge has informed everyone this trial will convene on Saturday. Live in Dallas, J.D. Miles, CBS 11 News.
J.D., thank you so much for bringing us up to speed. We're also learning a little more why jurors are not going to be hearing the opinion of the lead detective in this case, who believes the shooting of Botham Jean is not a crime. Said that in court, in fact. Texas Rangers lead investigator David Armstrong signed the affidavit to arrest Amber Guyger last year on a manslaughter charge. But the judge in the matter here says Armstrong's view of guilt or innocence is not going to be heard by the jury. They were not in there for that moment. Former top assistant DA Mike Snipes also says the detective's opinion is not evidence. A jury's view is the one that matters.
Well, it goes to the ultimate issue for the jury. It invades the province of the jury. And that's why, if I'm the judge, that opinion does not go to the jury. That's for the jury to decide. Mr.
Armstrong said he formed his opinion after completing the Rangers' investigation. A reminder, you can catch every single moment of the trial. Court's in session. It's live on our website, streaming, cbsdfw.com. We're also streaming live, if you prefer, CBS DFW on Facebook as well.